close lieutenants of the Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto, are insisting that they have a plan B. And of course, those who have been following Kenyan politics closely are wondering, are these the usual threats by Team Tanga, or are they serious this time? Are they going to do the same old things, revealing to us so-called secrets of Jubilee? Like at one time they threatened to release the controversial 2017 presidential elections, trapped in a server somewhere outside Kenya. Is their plan B same old, something like that? Or do they have something new that will send shockwaves right across the political landscape in Kenya? That is the question people are asking. And even as Kenyans ponder on this latest development and utterances from Team Tanga and the Deputy President's top lieutenants, there are some unconfirmed reports that former Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto was earlier today airlifted all the way from the Rift Valley to State House, Nairobi. Aye? What was so urgent? Anyway, we're going to analyze all that in great detail shortly. But first, I need to update you on some very interesting developments on the Kenyan border with Tanzania. You know, the Mzungu always gets their way on the continent of Africa. If the Mzungu does not like you or does not like what you're doing, even when you're still at home on your continent of Africa, they will get to you. And it's very sad that sometimes they use locals. They take advantage of the ignorance of some of our citizens and the greed of our African leaders and the greed of some people employed in some NGOs with super high salaries. My advice to all these people, although I'm keenly aware nobody has asked me for advice, but my advice to them for free is, please stop and think. And then whatever decision you make, do something that will stand the test of time. Now, the US government has done something very interesting in Tanzania. Okay? They have warned American citizens that their chances of contracting the coronavirus in Tanzania are extremely high. And so they should not loiter around. They should stay locked up in their homes and go out only for very vital, essential errands. And even then they should be very careful. It is also being said that Tanzania has not released any results of people who have tested for the virus. You know those daily briefings? So many have tested positive, so many have recovered, so many have passed on. You know them. It seems that these daily briefings are mandatory. And if you don't follow instructions from the Mzungu and brief people daily, then you'll get into trouble with the Mzungus, which is exactly what has happened to our dear brothers in Tanzania. And the sad thing, and also hilarious, is that in some countries, these daily briefings continue, when there are the more important and pressing issues, and indeed developing crisis in the country. But then these daily briefings must be there. For instance, in Kenya, floods have wreaked havoc. Over 230 people have lost their lives because of the floods. Many others have lost their homes. Landslides have wreaked havoc in Kenya. And this tragedy, national tragedy, continues as I speak. But there are no daily briefings on this crisis, national disaster. It is not as important as the virus. And daily briefings on the virus, come what may, they must be there. Now, a simple question. How many people have passed on from the virus in Kenya so far? You know the number. How many people have passed on from the flood and other related issues connected to the heavy rains that have been pouring all over Kenya in recent weeks? How many? How many casualties do you have from that? You know the number. You know, I urgently need somebody to explain to me what is going on. Because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. To those of you much smarter than I am, or at least who are able to see what I cannot see, kindly, I beg you, explain to me in the comments area what is really going on here. Anyway, our brothers and sisters in Tanzania are now in trouble with the Mzungu. And the latest rhetoric is that Kenyans are in danger of the virus coming into the country from our brothers and sisters in Tanzania, who were being made to believe are not doing enough against the virus. Now I'm getting very exhausted. I don't want to argue anymore about this thing. And so I'll be very brief. My dear brothers and sisters in Tanzania, support your president. And be very careful about donations coming into the country to allegedly assist you. And remember, even when the rest of the world is laughing, Almighty God is with you. Because when Almighty God looks down on the earth from his throne in heaven, he notices that there are no praises, there's no worship going up to him from anywhere else in the world. Although restaurants are reopening, hotels are reopening, but churches are still firmly shut and nobody wants to talk about them. And Almighty God notices that there's the sweet aroma of praise and worship from churches flowing upwards from a country called Tanzania. I believe, chances are very high, that Almighty God has stood up from his throne to look at Tanzania and listen to the praise and worship flowing up from that country to the heavenly throne. Something which is missing in Kenya. Something which is missing in most of the world. And this is what I have to tell you, my dear Tanzanians. Don't fear. Because if it is true this is happening, just wait and see what is going to happen next. Let me just leave it at that. Now, incidentally, today I discovered an old video I did on President John Pombe Magufuli, how he became president. A total miracle. And for students of politics, very interesting, a very interesting study. And I've put a link in the comments area below. Make sure you take in that video. You know, I was listening to it today, and I did this video in 2018, October. That's a long time ago. And I was amazed. I was entertained. I was impressed. And I was humbled that I could make such a video. Even when my eyes were still closed and I could not see the reality of what kind of great leader John Pombe Magufuli is. So just make sure you take it in. And while you're in the description area, please don't forget to sign the petition we're putting up against the AU. I need your support, because this is a way out for Africa before it is too late. You will find the link in the description area, so please take action. All those who support the Kumekucha brand, please do something that will stand the test of time. Now, back to local politics. I have reason to believe that the Deputy President and his team are about to make some moves that will send ripples right across the Kenyan political scene. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is yet, although I have an idea or two. And I've heard a few shocking things. But then I don't share rumors or unverified information on this channel. So I'm afraid all I can say is that something is about to happen. In that the Deputy President's people are about to respond. I can't get my mind away from a very simple question. Politics in Kenya imewaka moto. And this is happening at a time when we have other very serious things happening to the citizens, to the wananchi, to the people of Kenya. But our so-called leaders are not interested. Today is the 13th of May, exactly 2 months since Kenya reported her first case of the virus. And these leaders are very happy to do what they do daily. Go to the office, come out and make their daily announcements and briefings, go back to their comfortable homes and have their dinner. And if you ask them, they'll tell you that the less advantaged members of society in slums, etc., have food distributed to them, so there should be no problem. Now, what about the rest of the Kenyans? The people who are working, the people who had jobs. What are those people eating? And of course, those people don't qualify to get food distributed to them. Let us not even discuss the efficiency of the food distribution methods. But all those issues are not important. Politics is much more important. What happens in the Senate and the Parliament are much more important. Anyway, now what I can tell you about the response of the Deputy President's team is that they're not going to play clean. I'll give you a recent example. Recently, we were all made to believe, including the Senate, that the changes made by the Jubilee High Command related to the merger with KANU had been frozen, put on hold, until the political parties dispute tribunal rules on the issue. Now wait for this one. It turns out that what the press saw, what was even delivered to the Senate, was a fake document. The true position is that the changes made stand. All that cannot happen is that no major decisions or moves can be made until the tribunal rules on the issue. Bottom line, what happened is that somebody did some clever forgery and faked a very important document. So, back to my point. It is going to be messy. And people are now going to play dirty. The gloves are off. And so, you'll be crazy if you expect a soft, mild response from the Deputy President and his lieutenants. Something else. What Isaac Ruto was rushed to State House to do has got nothing to do with an appointment. His appointment to a big post. No. And I'm afraid I can only give you a hint right now. what I'm hearing, it has to do with arrangements that have to be made before the next big bombshell from the Jubilee Party High Command. Yeah! Folks, the long and short of it is that what I told you in yesterday's video is actually unfolding before our very eyes. What did I say? Let me repeat. The war between the president and his deputy, the political war, has entered its most deadly and its most dangerous phase. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.